Fever game against the Sparks with a groin issue. Remember, she did not miss a game in college or her first year in the W. She's already missed 5 games with a quad injury this season and now will add tonight to the list. Clark, unfortunately, is in a shooting slump as well, going 1 for 23 from 3 over her last 3 games.
Caitlin Clark has already missed 5 games this season, and now another one is added to the list due to a lingering quad injury. Fans are beginning to grow increasingly concerned not just about the current season, but about her long-term health. The team hasn't given many specifics, and this new development suggests the issue may be more serious than initially thought. What started as a precautionary rest period has now turned into a string of absences, raising eyebrows across the league. With every game missed, the pressure on the Indiana Fever grows, and fans are left holding their breath.
We highlight high-level stuff, get some shots up. It's more so about what we're doing outside of game right now, and we got to save their bodies.
Do you feel that with all the sudden change, because it's all come together at the same time, a little bit of injury, people leaving, that you are in an experimental stage with the lineup at all?
Not really. I think anytime you lose a player like Caitlin that's going to be out of the lineup, you definitely have to adjust things. Fortunately for us, the timing of having Ari back helps with that because she has been in the system. She does understand what we want out of the system. And the last time she was here, I think Caitlin was out as well. So, for us, having that familiarity is really good.
Before Thursday's home game against the Los Angeles Sparks, Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White addressed the media. She revealed that Caitlin Clark's status is now day-to-day, providing a glimmer of hope but also continuing the uncertainty. White elaborated on how the offense might adapt without Clark, especially during the back-to-back schedule. She hinted that other players will have a chance to step up in Caitlin's absence, but admitted that reshaping the team dynamic is no easy task. This update deepens the storyline. While the team waits, so do fans, clinging to every detail Coach White chooses to share. Rachel Anne-Marie Demita added more fuel to the discussion, noting that Caitlin hasn't felt like her usual self in recent games. Her point production has dipped, and she's mostly relied on three-pointers, which worries fans. When a player known for explosiveness and versatility is reduced to long-range shots, it's often a sign something deeper is going on. Rachel's observations align with Coach White's comments. Maybe Caitlin has been pushing through pain longer than we realized. As the speculation mounts, it's becoming clear that her visible on-court performance has been just the tip of the iceberg in this unfolding situation.
Steph, when watching Caitlin, when she has a little bit of a mini slump for her with three-pointers, are there things you see or even talk to her about it, or you just sort of know she's going to shoot her way out of that?
Well, I think she's going to find her way out of it. Now, we've got to get her easier ones. The ones where she's having to, dribble 5 or 6 times and create a shot. Some of that is play calling. Some of that is recognition and flow. Some of that is angles of our screens. We got to move her around a little bit more. I mean, she plays pretty much above the break all the time. And sometimes that's easy to predetermine how they're going to play certain actions. So we got to move her around a little bit more in different actions. We'll have a couple of days to get some work in practice, and we'll use that as an opportunity to look at some of those things.
Adding to the growing concerns, recent reports now say Caitlin Clark is out due to a groin injury. Commentators Jason Whitlock and Steve Kim weighed in, suggesting that the Indiana Fever might be holding her back intentionally to prepare for a major matchup against the Dallas Wings and Paige Buchers. That game could be pivotal, not only for playoff implications, but also for Clark's reputation. These experts argue that rushing her return could have serious consequences, yet waiting too long could affect team chemistry. The stakes are high, and both the Fever and Caitlin face critical decisions in the coming days. Looking back, one incident may have foreshadowed this downward spiral. A few games ago, tensions flared when an opponent, allegedly driven by jealousy, poked Caitlin Clark in the eye during a heated play. What seemed like just another gritty moment now feels symbolic, a warning shot of the physicality and hostility she faces. This physical altercation, while brief, possibly contributed to ongoing discomfort or at least heightened her vulnerability to further injuries. Combined with current reports of quad and groin issues, the pattern becomes clearer. Caitlin's body is taking a beating, and the league is beginning to take notice.
I feel about Caitlin being out, a lot of people are looking forward to you two facing off for the first time.
Yeah, I hope she has a speedy recovery. I think player safety is most important, so making sure you're 100% before you step out on the floor could lead to worse things, so I'm glad she's taking care of her body. But there'll be plenty of matches for the future.
Paige Beckers has since spoken publicly about Caitlin's injury, showing solidarity despite their rivalry. She extended her best wishes for a speedy recovery, calling Clark a vital part of the game. Her statement resonated with fans across both camps, reinforcing the respect top players have for each other. Paige's comments also underscored how Caitlin's absence affects not just the Fever, but the entire league. It's rare to see competitors express this level of mutual admiration, but when a generational talent is sidelined, the impact goes beyond wins and losses. It affects the very excitement the WNBA thrives on.
What's up, you guys? I'm Rachel Demita, and welcome to the Courtside Club. Today's video might end up being a variation of a rant video because there was some very big news that was dropped today. So I just wanted to give you guys my honest reactions and thoughts on it. And that is the news that Caitlin Clark is out with a groin injury. Now, if you guys have been watching the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark play over the past 3 games, it is very clear that Caitlin Clark is not feeling like Caitlin Clark. She has only made 1 3-pointer in her last 3 games, and even just last game, she only had 6 points. But it wasn't only her performance on the court that was worrying fans, it was also just her demeanor, her energy. It felt like something was wrong. She wasn't hyping up the crowd like she normally does, and even in her pregame routine, she was doing some things differently. Some fans also noticed that she had her upper left leg taped during a couple of those games, so there's a lot of things going on, a lot of things pointing to the
Rachel Ann Marie returned with a crucial observation. In several recent games, Caitlin was seen with noticeable athletic tape wrapped around her leg. This small but telling detail now feels like a clue that had gone overlooked. Rachel questioned why no one raised concerns earlier. Was Caitlin downplaying pain, or was the team trying to protect her image? Fans reviewing past footage are now spotting the tape too, wondering if this has been an ongoing issue. It's another piece of the puzzle that suggests Clark may have been battling injuries much longer than the public realized, only now reaching a breaking point.
Caitlin Clark will be out for at least 2 weeks. She has a quad strain that has been bugging her since training camp. That stinks for the Fever, obviously. That stinks for our city. That also stinks for the WNBA as a whole. Feels like this year a lot more common sense is kind of settling in. Caitlin Clark is the needle mover. The Indiana Fever are the draw. They're going to be without CC for at least a couple weeks as she rests and tries to heal up a quad strain. That sucks for everybody in the WNBA. It definitely sucks for the Fever here, Ty.
Yeah, without a doubt. And you know, you hate to say it, but like this will be the litmus test for the WNBA. We'll end the conversation once and for all. Like if the Fever go out and the ratings aren't the same because she's not playing, then it's a pretty clear indication. Like you said, like she is the needle mover, she is the main draw. You just hope that the Fever can withstand it as well, because 2 weeks, I mean that's a decent chunk of games in their season. And they've been off to a good start here. You hope they don't.
On the Pat McAfee show, the discussion took a broader turn. What does Caitlin's absence mean for the WNBA as a whole? The consensus: it's not good. McAfee and his guests stressed how Clark has brought unmatched attention to the league, and without her, viewership and excitement could dip. They also expressed concern over the Fever's ability to perform without their star. This segment elevated the situation from team sports to league-wide in importance. Clark isn't just a player, she's a movement. With her out, everyone from fans to broadcasters feels the void, hoping her absence is short and recovery is complete. Coach Stephanie White later commented that Clark's return depends on how she responds to ongoing treatment, a cautious but hopeful statement. Yet Rachel Ann Marie posed a sharp question. Why did Stephanie only now recognize the severity when Clark had already been playing with tape on her leg for weeks? That question lingers heavily. Was there a communication breakdown, or was Clark playing through pain without fully disclosing it? Either scenario raises concerns about how athlete health is managed. The discrepancy between visible signs and internal decisions now sits at the center of fan frustrations, and the organization must respond.
The fallout has begun. The Indiana Fever are literally taking what looks like the most valuable women's athlete asset that has come around in I don't know how many years, certainly for women's basketball. They are taking this asset, an asset that I contend is worth more than every player in the WNBA combined. I'm keeping it real. All right, that's the draw, that's the aura, that's the brand. She is the WNBA. I've said, I contend she ought to be, her 3-point shot should have already been changed. That should be the logo of the WNBA. Of course, the old school WNBA fans, you know, all about this many of them that existed, that makes them furious. I don't care. Y'all can keep trying to gatekeep this league all you want. I don't care. They're trying to take this asset. Stephanie White seems to be completely in over her head. Once again, Jason Whitlock said it the other day, and I pointed right at my television screen.
To close out the reactions, Rhodes Rant passionately declared Caitlin Clark the real aura and the GOAT of the WNBA. He didn't mince words. Without her, he believes the Indiana Fever will crumble. Rhodes emphasized how Clark's presence changes the entire dynamic, from energy in the arena to defensive pressure on opponents. He argued that her absence isn't just a lineup change, it's a foundational shift. The team, he says, looks lost without her leadership and vision. Whether or not you agree with his take, it's undeniable that Caitlin's influence extends far beyond stats. Her absence has become a league-wide reckoning. On the Pat McAfee show, Pat highlighted a jaw-dropping stat. Caitlin Clark recorded 5 rebounds in just 19 seconds, the fastest in basketball history. That moment, he said, is a testament to her instincts, hustle, and awareness, no matter her physical state. It's moments like these that make her absence so glaring. Pat emphasized how rare it is to see that kind of quickness and heart, especially in a rookie, and while the stat left viewers in awe, it also raised concern. Was such aggressive play too much too soon for someone already battling injuries? Was it worth the cost?
Steph, when watching Caitlin, when she has a little bit of a mini slump for her with three-pointers, are there things you see or even talk to her about it, or you just sort of know she's going to shoot her way out of that?
Oh, I think she's going to find her way out of it. Now, we've got to get her easier ones. You know, the ones where she's having to, you know, dribble 5 or 6 times and create a shot. You know, some of that is play calling. Some of that is recognition and flow. Some of that is angles of our screens. We got to move her around a little bit more. I mean, she plays pretty much above the break all the time. And sometimes that's easy to predetermine how they're going to play certain actions. So we got to move her around a little bit more in different actions. You know, we'll have a couple of days to get some work in practice, and we'll use that as an opportunity to look at some of those things.
Steve Kim echoed what many are now fearing. Caitlin Clark may have rushed her return before fully recovering. When you push yourself too soon, he said, you don't just delay healing, you often make it worse. Steve believes that the urgency to meet expectations, combined with league pressure, may have driven Caitlin back to the court prematurely. He warns this pattern is all too common in elite athletes. The need to prove oneself can override logic. Now, we're seeing the consequences: lingering injuries, limited mobility, and a struggling team. The question remains, will they finally prioritize long-term health over short-term results? Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White addressed the growing scrutiny, promising a shift in approach. We'll make things easier for Caitlin, she said, so she can continue practicing without aggravating the injury. The coaching staff plans to adjust drills and reduce physical strain, allowing her to stay engaged without risking further setbacks. It's a welcome shift, one that suggests they've finally acknowledged the seriousness of her condition. Stephanie also stated that supporting Clark's recovery isn't just about games, it's about preserving her career. After weeks of uncertainty, this moment may be the turning point fans have been waiting for. Caitlin Clark's injury saga has evolved from minor concern to full-blown crisis, revealing deeper questions about player health, coaching decisions, and league expectations. From eye pokes and taped legs to rushed comebacks and media pressure, this situation reflects the intense spotlight on one of the WNBA's brightest stars. While the Fever now promises a better plan moving forward, it may be too little too late. What do you think? Should Caitlin have sat out longer? Is the team doing enough to protect her? Drop your thoughts below. Because this conversation isn't just about Clark, it's about how we treat greatness.